pushing that, but you got a soul to say. I just been cooking that note. I'm about to drop in the fuel. Think if I call it the great, the people gon' call it the truth.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, City of Chicago, wherever you're listening to us from. You are listening to Straight Words on WVON 1690. This is the Talk of Chicago. We're on every Tuesday night by the grace of Almighty God, Allah, from 9 until midnight. We thank you so much for tuning in every week, supporting this show since we started a year ago and some change. Brothers and sisters, we are so happy to be here. Brother Naba'a Richard Muhammad is the editor-in-chief of the great Final Call newspaper. He is the creator and host of this show. Assalamu alaikum to you, my big brother. How you doing?
Hey, walaikum salam, Brother BJ. How you doing, man?
Doing fine, sir. And, of course, our big brother, who's always the conscience. We're going to call him the conscience of Straight Words. This brother is the former editor of the Final Call newspaper, now contributing editor, the great Brother James G. Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum, sir. How you doing?
Hey, walaikum salam, Brother BJ. I heard you said we've been on for a year, some change, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, well, we need more than change, though, brother.
Yeah, right.
We should talk about that right now before we get started.
Yeah. Hey, I like the way you put it together, Brother James. Just go ahead and do the honors, Brother James.
Man, we need change. They've been talking about change a long time. But Straight Words with Brother Naba'a Richard Muhammad, who's been throwing it down for over a year now, you need some dollars. Because a dollar, change will make you holler. A dollar make you shout. So, go to straightwords.com. Put a little bit something on your brother. He loves you.
Come on, man.
And we know you love him. You can hear the passion in his voice every time he come on this show. And so he's standing up. All he needed is some support. So go to straightwords.com and then stay tuned. That's it, Brother BJ.
Right. That's right, brother. Sound good. So straightwords.com, brothers and sisters, straightwords.com. But we got a packed show tonight, Brother Naba'a. Got some great guests on, too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we and brothers and sisters, look, this is the other thing now. You can text 312-480-9775. 312-480-9775. And we will tell you how to help us directly, okay? So straightwords.com, we got Zelle up there, we got PayPal up there, we got Cash App up there, okay? But I think we got Dr. Patrice Muhammad on the line. We got a very interesting subject. We're going to have her on for maybe about 20 minutes to talk about what she is doing, her and our brother James E. Muhammad. Dr. Patrice, are you there?
Yes, sir, I am. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Wa alaikum salam, sis.
So this is our great sister. So, sister, how are you? I hope your mom is doing well. I want to say that first of all.
Thank you so much. Yeah, she's well. Thank you.
She's doing well. We'll always give her the greetings from me. And my brother James E. Muhammad, I heard he on the phone too. Big J, you on the phone, man?
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Well, let's get into this thing, man. So we wanted to talk, brothers and sisters, about an important subject. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad actually discusses it, I believe, both in Message to the Black Man and How to Eat to Live. Mm-hmm. The subject of clean water. Mm-hmm. And water is essential to life. So, Sister Patrice, Brother James, y'all go on and take it away. Y'all the experts.
Hey, that's the doctor goal.
Okay. All right, Doc, it's on you.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you for having us, and in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. I am honored to be on your program, and thank you so, so much, my dear brother Naba'a, for having us this evening to discuss such an important topic, as you always have guests who give information that is germane to our survival, important to our survival. And this is one of those topics, and it's about clean water. So you're absolutely right. It is in Message to the Black Man. It's in How to Eat to Live, about getting 99% pure water to drink and to use. And we know that our water supply, as the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has stated in several lectures, and there's one in particular, the lecture he gave, Healing Begins in the Mind. As a man thinks, so is he. And that was at Kennedy King College, June 18, 2005. And he talked about the glory of God and his creation. And then he states, there's something in the water affecting human life. And he states that somebody's gonna make mischief with a created thing. And we know water is given us by God Almighty Allah, and someone is making mischief in the water. But I don't have to go through the details and give you line by line of instances in this country where we have gotten the notice that water has been contaminated. Boil your water. The water boiling orders. The bottled water. Come get your bottled water orders. And it's happening all around this country and has been happening for quite some time. There is a 5-minute video I'd like to direct your listeners to go to at their convenience, because it is the most comprehensive information and explanation of why the water gets contaminated and has been contaminated. And it's just 5 minutes. It is very detailed and informative, and it gives you the history of the water contamination and moving forward, what needs to be done with the infrastructure. But in the meantime, I'd like to ask a quick question, and then I'll yield to my brother and partner in this water filtration business. And that is, have you ever washed your body with clean water?
Man. Your body with clean water. Have you ever washed your body with... Well, you would think that you're using water, you would think that it's clean, right? Yeah. You would think. Yeah. Right? You would think. You would think, huh? Yeah. Okay. Yes, sir. Yeah. All right. Well, I think you got some educating us to tell that. So, Brother James E., you ready to get into this thing, man? Yes, First of all, give us the name of your business that you and Sister are involved in. And Sister Patrice, you're also with the Salon Wellness Center right here in Chicago, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes, sir, I am. Okay, so Brother James E., come on. Yes. Your company is Water Systems LLC, is that correct? Yes. Talk about what that is and what you two are trying to do. We are a water filtration company. We provide systems for your house, your business, or your apartments. So you can have clean water where you live. Yeah. So everybody, then we think all water is clean. It's not. They are doing things in this city right now will tell you it's not so. They're taking the lead out the water main system right now. They know the lead in your water is real. I used to do water main and sewer for a company for 15 years, water main and sewer. I saw some things, you know? So I know water is not good. Nowhere, really. But we can treat these waters because the chemicals in front of these companies and everything, they make the water good to drink, but it's not the best. My company will provide the system you need to get the best water for your house, your business, or your apartment. Yeah.
So you're saying, Brother James, if I live in an apartment, you can hook me up where I'm not getting the same water maybe as my neighbor is getting. I'm getting a cleaner water, right?
Yes.
Okay. So that means, I guess, that there's something that do you come and do you install something, or do you just say abracadabra and it just becomes clean? Explain that.
I wish. But we have to come inside your house, your business, or apartment to see what you need. It's based on your price, the level of a system that you need is based on the size of your house, the size of your business, things like that. So we have to come to see you.
Yeah, you do an analysis then of my system.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that I don't know about but might be in my water that I should be concerned about?
I would say medicines, disease, lead, among everything. When you take this in, everything that come out your house goes somewhere.
Yeah.
Everything. Your body, whatever come out your body has to go somewhere to get clean.
Right.
Take that in.
Yeah.
And everything that go in the street down to the tunnel have to go somewhere. Dogs, rats. Ain't lying. The waste of the city has to go somewhere. And everything that go in, I would say to us, what go in, come back out. Yeah. So it's something, man.
Okay.
So if you look at that part, what come out your house have to go somewhere to be clean. Wow. And we know nothing is perfect at all. So we have to really think about that part.
And I'd just like to add to that. Thank you, Brother James. I'd just like to add to that. You know, there's still particles, and this is everywhere. This is just not in Illinois. This is, everywhere, because once you look at that video, that 5-minute video is powerful. You'll know about the infrastructure and the pipes of this country that need to be replaced. And part of that is, just think about this, radioactive particles. Okay, there are people who are taking certain treatments that is radioactive. I mean, some of the particles that they're taking, some of the modalities, or I should say treatment. I don't like to call them a modality. I just like to say treatment drug. That when that person who is taking that form of chemotherapy or treatment, they have to get rid of it. How? Through urination, through defecation. That goes down in the system, the sewer system. Yeah. So are those particles being adequately filtered out? Yeah. Radon being adequately filtered out? Something called fecal coliforms, are they being adequately filtered out? There are certain parts per trillion that they allow. I thought it should be 0. And you know what I mean. Fecal, that's human or animal, any warm-blooded mammal. So you're talking about fecal mammal. So there is a portion, there is an amount that they say it should be less than this part per. I'm like, what? It should be absolutely 0, but it's not. So those are things we have to look at and think about. It's something called PFAs. I know some people out there may know what that is. Right. So the PFAs, those are what they call those forever chemicals. They call forever for a reason, because they don't disintegrate. They don't break down easily at all. It takes years and years and years. That's why they call it forever. Those are the perfluoroalkyl and polyfluoroalkyl substances. And those are synthetic chemicals that have been used since the 1940s.
Oh, wow.
So these are chemicals that are, they are around, and they, when you look at what they're used from, I mean, they're in cookware, firefighting foam. The foam for firefighters. Okay, they leave, they're gone, the fire is out, you're so happy, but that's released into the environment. A forever chemical. Carpets, personal care products have some in there. Food packaging, some clothing to make it water resistant and stain resistant. Those are PFAs that are doing that.
Do you know, like at the city water plant, do they test for? I mean, I know they can't test for everything. Do you even know, like, to what degree do they test for various chemicals? Which ones are they not testing for? Like you said, those PFAs, are they even testing for how much of that is in the water that's coming through our pipes for drinking water?
Yes, some chemicals. It's not an extensive list at all. We would look and see what those chemicals are, but of course the main ones are the lead. The lead. Of course. Of course, they're checking, for lead and fluorine, and we know about fluoridation. How severe that can be with brain function and your actual, all of your body systems. With that fluoridation, that's really severe. It can cause seizures. Because it takes away the protective, the neurotransmitters that protects us against against seizures. But the water supply, there is a list. Depending on where you live, it's required that all of the townships or counties supply you with a list of what's in the water And it's very easy. You can simply just go online and it'll give you the list. You don't have to do anything special. Just do your search for your township and it'll give you a water report. It's required for them to do that annually. So every township has that. However, we recommend that you go a step further because all of the chemicals that we're talking about in particular, some of them do test for that. Most don't. So I say, let's get an independent test to say what's really in this water, what's in your water that's coming in. And that way we can cater a system for you because, you know, you may not want to get the Bentley of systems. You know, you don't have to get the Bentley of systems. You can get something very simple based upon the test that you get from your township and the test that you do independently. And there's some pretty inexpensive tests. I would consider $140 inexpensive to test over and above what your local township or county tests for, to give you peace of mind to know you have an independent test above and beyond what your county tests for.
So go ahead. Go ahead, Naba.
No, I was just going to say, brothers and sisters, I hope you're really listening very carefully, because we are most often, we associate water safety with drinking water. So we heard about the situation in Flint, but remember this now. Remember how the people in Flint, Michigan, and nobody's been held accountable for that, by the way, anyway, yet still, right?
Yeah.
Right. But we know that the water system was diverted from what was supposed to be a quote-unquote safe source to another source. Yeah. But not only was the water not safe for drinking, the water was not safe for bathing, right? So it caused all kinds of health problems for the people who were still being charged water bills. And that ain't been resolved yet. I don't think, I'll tell you what, no major state officials have been prosecuted. I'll tell you that much. The governor at the time ain't been prosecuted. I don't think the city manager who made the decision and others in Michigan state government that made the decision have been prosecuted. And we just found out about Flint after a while. I'm not trying to alarm you, but I'm just pointing out, I don't think Flint is the only place. And they were just talking about this lead and these pipes that is so old that now they're working on replacing. So we're talking about, and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said water. Did he say just for drinking, Sister Patrice, do you recall? Or did he just talk about the need for purity of water? Because I don't quite recall.
Yes, it says water should be 99% pure for drinking.
For drinking. But we know that that's one level. Yeah. But we also know that in the modern time, and I just wanted to run through a list of stuff real quick. Some of the things that are in the water, right? Some of the problems. So, of course, water contamination, chemicals and germs from fertilizers, pesticides, industrial and manufacturing operations, poor infrastructure, a major loss of clean water and wastewater contamination, groundwater contamination. About 50% of drinking water in the United States comes from a water well, and groundwater contamination is a growing concern. Flood impacts. Water contamination is one of the biggest issues after flood event. And, you know, we get flooding events in Chicago all the time. Yeah. That's, brothers and sisters, from the Centers for Disease Control. Yeah. So what Brother James and Dr. Patrice is talking about is a full system. A full system for your drinking, for your cooking, for your bathing. Yeah. And so how do you all determine what kind of system do I need, and will you test my water, or do I need to test it myself?
Well, we determine the type of system that you need. I'm sorry, Brother James, would you like to answer?
Yeah, you do. You can do that.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
You can tell the type of system that you need based upon your water report. So again, the water report, very simple. Just go to your local site, and I got something for you from the Chicago sample, and
all right.
It's a very short list, but you get your water test from your local township or county. Then we can say, okay, you have this. You don't have this, but we have to go above and beyond. So we will recommend an independent test. If you don't want to get the independent test, that's fine. We can just do a reverse osmosis and just knock everything out and say, okay, you want to add calcium, you want to add, other things, some minerals, we can do that too. And then, I'm sorry, your next question was, we can test it. Yes, we can bring a test and test your water. Yeah. It's very simple. Yeah, we can do that. So you want? Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I got one question after that. Go ahead.
The microbial contaminants is 1, 2, 3, 4. It only tests for 2 microbial contaminants. That's the total coliform bacteria, which includes the fecal coliform and E. coli, of course. Then it tests for...
You're talking about the city? You're talking about the city, right? You're talking about the city.
Yes.
This is what the city tests.
I'm talking about the city. Right. Mm-hmm. And, yes, sir. And the inorganic contaminants, barium, copper, lead, nitrate, and nitrite. That's it. Disinfectants, the total halomethanes, and the haloacetic acid, chlorine. That's it. Unregulated contaminants, which are sulfate and sodium. State-regulated contaminants, fluoride, and radioactive contaminants, combined radium and gross alpha, which is that excludes radium and uranium. So that's it. I read off that in what, a couple seconds?
Couple seconds, yeah.
So that's a very short list for Chicago. But anyway, like you said, they can't test for everything. That's why it's incumbent upon us. I mean, we have to have our due diligence. I mean, we can't just leave everything up to them. We have to do our due diligence because we know that they only want to do the absolute most, I guess, damaging that you would say of contaminants, but there are some that aren't listed here that could be just as damaging, especially to children and older adults, and elderly. Things affect them more, the young and the older.
Wow. And also, I guess people with compromised immune systems?
Absolutely. That's another layer that's even more sensitive that we need to test for more things.
So, Sister Patrice, can you give me some idea of the price range? Of course, an apartment would be less than a full house. A small condo would be less than a big house. Can you give us an idea? And brothers and sisters, I want you to think about this in this way, right? Yeah. Because I think now most of us are being careful of our eating in some way, thanks to really the influence of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, really. His influence has made us better as Black people in terms of our diets. Right. But the other thing I think about, and I saw this somewhere, even the water that we buy, how do we even know, what we're getting? And I saw a program years ago where basically the company was basically getting the water
the same water that's coming out of your tap from a municipal water department, running it through a filter and then selling it.
That's right.
So there wasn't an independent source like an artesian well or something like that. But can you give us an idea? And brothers and sisters, again, all of this is just to give you an idea. What you need to do, and I don't think there's anything wrong with just trying to get information. That's what we're here for. Can you give us an idea of what that range could be from like a small apartment to, I don't know, let's say a small three-bedroom house? Any idea?
A wide range. This is, well, I won't say it's such a wide range, but if you want a whole house filtration system, we're talking about a larger home, like a 3-bedroom home, for instance. And this is, and Brother James, would you like to give that, or you want me to say what I have?
I can do it.
Yes, sir.
A apartment that would cost you at least $250 for an undersink system.
Okay.
And the whole house system will be at least $2,500 for a whole house system.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. That's nothing. I mean, you think about how much are you spending on drinking water.
Yeah.
And I guess you can start with one system and then add on if you want to. Is that correct?
Yeah, you can. And you can put your system in a size that you need for your house.
Okay. So the system that you get would be tailored to your house.
Yes.
And I guess whatever your specific water needs are.
How many bathrooms, how many stairs, how many feet in your house, things like that.
Yeah. Wow. And we're talking to Brother James. Yeah. We're talking to Brother James E. Muhammad and Dr. Patrice Muhammad of Water Systems LLC, based right here in Chicago. Of course, they're both Muslims in the Nation of Islam. Good brother, good sisters. Do you all have any events coming up? Well, how do people get in contact with you?
Okay, we have an 800 number.
Thank you.
Okay, so our 800 number is 844-WATER-07, and that's 844-923-8307.
Very good.
Okay.
Dr. Patrice, if you could text me that number and maybe a couple paragraphs about what you all do and how people can contact you, I want to put something on our website. If you want to send me a little more, that's fine. Not too much. Yeah, go ahead, Brother James.
Thank you.
Yeah. Also, Dr. Patrice, did you give? You mentioned a 5-minute film, but I didn't catch where to find that at.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's a PBS. It's pbs.org, and if you just put in it's pbs.org, why American cities are struggling to supply safe drinking water. But if you put pbs.org and then put that in the search, why American cities are struggling to supply safe drinking water, and I will send the actual link to Brother Naba'a also.
Very good. So thank you, Brother James E. and Sister Patrice. Anything else you want to add before we let you go?
Thank you for everything, Brother Naba'a and your staff.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, brother, for the information, man. And brother and sister, Brother James has been working on this thing for a long time.
That's right.
A long time, man. and he has not given up regardless. I'm telling you. I've watched this man.
Exactly.
And they're doing some exciting things. Give that number again one more time, Sister Patrice. We want you to call.
Yes, sir. It is 844-WATER-07. So 844-WATER-07.
Well, thank you both for coming on. We'll have to bring you back. And when you're doing any events, let us know. We want to let the people know. But $250, brothers and sisters, for a clean water system, you can't beat that. All right, y'all. Thanks for calling. Stay in touch.
Thank you.
Big J, I talked to you, man.
Salam alaikum.
Thank you. All right. Great segment. Great segment. Brother BJ.
Yes, sir.
Why don't you start talking about a little bit about the news, some of the news from today. And we got a special guest coming on, and we're going to talk about the Uhuru 3 and this case of activists charged with being Russian agents that was decided. So, brother BJ, some of the latest things in the news, man, what you looking at?
Well, we talked about this a couple of months ago, and it's back in the news with Sean P. Diddy Combs indicted on some serious criminal charges, including sex trafficking, racketeering, some of the alleged activities. I just mentioned sex trafficking, forced labor, interstate transportation for purposes of prostitution, coercion and enticement to engage in prostitution, narcotic offenses, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. And there's so many things. I talked about those little parties that P. Diddy was having. They call it the freak-off parties. And man, it was a lot in there, brother. And I just looked at P. Diddy. I met P. Diddy in the early 90s in Charlotte when he came down for one of our concerts. And you couldn't have told me that my brother would be involved in something like this. I just didn't see that. And of course, all these things are alleged until, the Southern District of New York, which they have a 99% conviction rate. The Southern District of New York, they're notorious for a lot of high-profile cases, and we've seen some of the work that they did. And the brother, the state attorney, Damian Williams, he laid out a case in the press conference, what they had uncovered with the raid in Los Angeles and New York of the tapes and video devices that they have information, and they've seen video of some of the things that happened at the mansion, man. And, he tried to get the bail. His lawyers are trying to work on getting him bailed out, and they had came up with a proposal package for his bail of about $50 million. And he had, and now somebody told me this, what I was telling you earlier, Brother Naba'a, about in order for him to put his mansions up, his house up, he had to pay $18 million to pay off the mortgage. Then somehow he could use the equity in the house to come up with the $48 million. And then I think his mother's house was $2 million. And there's some other properties that he was putting up for a total of about $50 million. And the judge denied it. So he's in Brooklyn in jail, the same place where R. Kelly was being held.
Now, Brother BJ, go ahead. No, I was just going to say, I was watching CNN. I watched the press conference, and then I watched, some of the coverage afterward. And one of the things that the defense lawyer said was that the government didn't allege that anybody did anything against their will. That's the defense. That's one of the things that I guess the defense lawyers are going to be talking about. And they were also, I guess the implication was, and for me listening to the analysts on CNN, actually listening to them, their analysis was that the federal charges came
because the sex workers allegedly traveled across state lines.
Yeah.
That's where the federal sex trafficking charge came in. But, again, brothers and sisters, innocent until proven guilty. We're just running through some of the things that we know at this time in terms of what's been alleged by prosecutors, as well as some of what the defense has responded to right now, But this is certainly, I think, going to be a pretty big case. I guess in all of these cases for the prosecutors, the question is anybody else going to be charged? And generally, prosecutors try to flip somebody to testify against the main people. The other thing is that Diddy has a number of civil lawsuits pending. Remember, a few months ago, we had the video surface that was aired initially on CNN of him beating his girlfriend at the time, Cassie. I mean, just a horrible situation. He eventually, went on social media and apologized, but that was absolutely vicious. So, developing case is still going on.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Art, I think we got Art on the phone. I know you want to say something, Brother James G. But we'll get Art on real quick, and you can make your comment.
Yeah, we got about
Art.
3 minutes for Art, okay? And then we'll have to go through
ahead, Brother Art. Yes, sir. Brother Art, go ahead. You're on WBON.
All right. Good evening, young man. With Mr. Combs, it's a tragedy. It's the egregious. We know he's guilty. Just to see him lie first and say that he didn't do no harm to his girlfriend, then come out after the video come back, and then you see this, then he come back with an apology. That means he's a liar. So we know whether the prosecutor and all the other stuff we're talking about, we know freak parties, we know the degenerate behavior, drugs, alcohol has decimated and destroyed our community. So just that alone, that, when people say our problem is money, if we have money, we'll do better. These people have hundreds of millions of dollars, and they still participate in degenerate behavior and continue to tear down our communities and destroy and take advantage of black women and women in general. So at the end of the day, I have no empathy for him or anyone who participated, aided, and abetted, and who knew that he was doing these things. And a lot of people knew that's supposed to be preachers and teachers and potentators, and they didn't say anything about these things, and they continue to look at him as somebody special, and he's not. He's just a brother who got some resources and took advantage, like most brothers, not all, take advantage of the ignorant and the poor to advance themselves. I'll leave it at that and what now.
Hey, Art, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. And I think part of what I say is, and it's not just brothers, it's the way of this society. They don't call Hollywood Hollyweird for nothing.
That's right.
And we've seen it with Harvey Weinstein and all the things that he did. Brother Wesley Muhammad also talks about Clive Davis and some of the debauchery he's been involved in.
Oh yeah.
And so there's a whole cesspool of immorality associated with Hollywood and associated with the entertainment industry and those who wield power in that industry. When the brother Cat Williams did that interview with Shannon Sharp that blew up. Yeah. He said during that interview that he was in a room, he was trying to get cast for a role. And Harvey Weinstein said before everybody in the room, he performed oral sex on Cat Williams and give him a role. Don't believe me? Go to that interview. Go to that interview that Cat Williams did with Shannon Sharp. And it's also, you're right, Art, the overall level of immorality in the society. And I think also, with asking our lessons, why does the devil keep us apart from his social equality? And the answer talks about that we will see how filthy he is in all his affairs and run him from among us. But it looks like today we're not running him from among us. We're running to be with him. So the minister has said to us, brothers and sisters, and this is why I think lessons can be learned. The minister has said to us that the enemy has made us into himself. And when you can traffic in any people, but when you can traffic in your own woman, you're a black man sex trafficking black women and children. Something's really wrong with you, man.
Right.
Something's really wrong. You are not yourself. And you don't know who you are. You've been made into the enemy that made us all. But there's a man going around that can cleanse you of that. But and Brother BJ, you said something earlier that I think we would all be wise to consider, not just in the lives of others, but in our own lives.
That's
we are living in the day of judgment. So the Holy Quran teaches, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad warns us, and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan reiterates, where what we do, there will be consequences. So, go ahead.
Brother Jabril wrote an article y'all remember this article in the final call? He talked about intense regret. And intense regret is a regret that you can do absolutely nothing about. And of course, every deed has a consequence that we have to suffer. And, unintended consequences when we think we can do evil and get away with it, as we're living in the time of the day of judgment in which we now live, that time has been sped up. Justice has been sped up. And God is not playing with us, brothers and sisters. So we are the people of God. And when you look at these things that are happening, the minister told us, he said, he who is without sin cast the first stone. And so you need to pick up a brick and throw it at yourself, because all of us have been guilty of something that if people knew about it, we would be ashamed of. So, don't, this is not a joyous time. This is not a time to laugh at P. Diddy and make fun of him and make jokes and all that stuff. We need to look in our own mirror and clean ourselves up before we get exposed before the world, because God is not playing with us, brother.
Good point.
Look, and again, these are all allegations.
Right.
These are all allegations. The government has he's not been proven guilty. You really haven't heard his side. You've heard the government side so far. That's just the facts of the matter at this point, right?
Yeah.
But I think, brothers and sisters, bigger than that, because that's a situation that will be resolved one way or another. Just as the situation with R. Kelly was resolved one way or another. He was convicted. And there was a bunch of people associated with that. And I'm going to stop right there, because if I don't, I'm going to say some stuff that I shouldn't say. I just am, because I just am. And I know it, because I just feel a certain way about the violation of children, man.
Yes, sir.
But I'll suffice it to say, many people knew, and his case has been legally resolved. So he was found guilty, right? Go ahead, Brother BJ.
Yes, sir. We're going to talk about this, maybe get another chance to kind of expound on that. But we're at the top of the hour, brothers and sisters. Go to our website, straightwords.com. You can support our show. We have all the information, and you can hear some replays of some previous shows that we've done. We need your support. Straightwords.com. Help us, donate, support us, and we really appreciate it. You're listening to WBON 1690. This is the Talk of Chicago.
The Talk of Chicago and the voice of the nation is 1690 WBON, Berwyn, Chicago.